January 10, 2026 was supposed to be just another night on tour for Colombia's Música Popular star YEISON Jimenez. Hours later, headlines confirmed the unimaginable. His private plane, a Piper Navajo, crashed in Boyacá. Every soul on board was lost. The route was routine. The disaster was absolute. But what actually happened during those final minutes? And why does the truth matter so deeply right now? Born in 1991 in the small town of Manzanares, Caldas, YEISON Jimenez grew up surrounded by the rhythms and struggles of rural Colombia. From a young age, he poured those experiences into music, shaping a voice that resonated with working-class families across the country. His style, cowboy boots, wide-brimmed hats, and heartfelt lyrics became a symbol for fans who saw their own lives reflected in his songs. By his early 30s, YEISON's rise was unmistakable. He packed arenas, earned millions of streams, and was recognized by Billboard as a Latin breakthrough artist. In March 2026, he was set to headline his second show at Bogotá's El Campín Stadium, an achievement reserved for only the biggest names in Colombian music. At home, YEISON Jimenez was more than a star. He was a father to 3 children, ages 15, 8, and just over 1 year old. Family remained at the center of his world, even as his schedule filled with concerts and travel. In a rare, vulnerable appearance on national television, he said he had the same recurring dream 3 times. Each time, he saw himself in a plane accident. Once it ended with his own death, and with his name on the news. He said one of those nightmares came just weeks before his youngest son was born. For those closest to him, these words carry a weight that is hard to measure. January 10, 2026 began like any other day in Boyacá Highlands, but the region's quiet routine was interrupted by the roar of a small twin-engine aircraft preparing for takeoff. The plane was a Piper PA-31 Navajo, and it carried the registration N325FA, a type commonly used for short regional flights across Colombia's rugged interior. Its departure point was the Juan José Rondon Aerodrome, a modest airfield between the towns of Paipa and Duitama. From the runway, fields stretch toward distant hills, and the thin mountain air can challenge even experienced pilots. The Navajo was charted for a direct flight toward Medellin, a route that would cross valleys and climb over the Central Cordillera. On board were 6 people, including YEISON Jimenez and members of his team. The plane's white fuselage and its tail number had been logged in aviation records since its registration, but on this day, it was set for a routine hop that would never reach its destination. The circumstances, private aircraft operating from a regional aerodrome on a familiar route, reflected the realities of touring life for artists in Colombia. The flight lasted only a few minutes. Early reports agree that the Piper PA-31 Navajo, carrying YEISON Jimenez and 5 others, departed from Paipa and never gained enough altitude to clear the hills beyond the aerodrome. Media sources cite a brief airborne window before the plane plunged into the rural landscape between Paipa and Duitama. Witness accounts collected in the first hours after the crash describe seeing the aircraft at a very low altitude, but these observations remain preliminary and have not been confirmed by investigators. After impact, the scene was marked by fire. Several reports mention the wreckage burning completely, and some describe more than one blast, though these details are still under review. Such early testimony helps establish the sequence of events, but cannot explain why the aircraft failed to climb. For now, investigators are focused on reconstructing those critical first moments after takeoff, using every available account to map the plane's path across the Boyacá terrain. The crash site lies scattered across Boyacá's rolling hills, where patchwork fields and uneven ground complicate every step of the investigation. Field teams work methodically, mapping debris across slopes and through tall grass, careful not to disturb the burn patterns that trace the fire's path after impact. Each separated component, including wing fragments, engines, and scorched cabin sections, offers a clue about the moments before and after the crash. Investigators document the precise location of every piece, noting how far each traveled from the initial ground scar. The terrain itself, with its dips and rises, shapes the spread of wreckage and the way fire moved through the grass and soil. In these conditions, preserving evidence demands patience and precision. Every detail, from the angle of a propeller blade to the outline of burned earth, is logged to help reconstruct the flight's final seconds. This painstaking process forms the foundation for understanding what happened in the air above these hills. Colombia's Civil Aviation Authority, IROCIVIL, now leads a technical investigation that unfolds along 3 main tracks. Teams are examining the aircraft's maintenance logbooks and airworthiness records, searching for any sign of unresolved mechanical issues or recent repairs on the Piper PA-31 Navajo. Operational details are under review. Weight and balance sheets, fuel records, and weather data from the evening of January 10, 2026 will be matched against performance charts to see if density, altitude, or loading affected the climb. Investigators are also gathering any available ADS-B transponder data or ground surveillance footage to reconstruct the short flight path. Human factors come next. Pilot licensing, recent duty time, and crew decision-making will be checked against standard protocols. At this stage, no single cause is confirmed. Until AeroCivil releases its findings, claims about engine failure, overloading, or pilot error remain unverified. The public is urged to rely on official statements and treat rumors or early conclusions with caution. Every routine flight carries silent risks, especially over unforgiving terrain. Today, the investigation continues. For fans and families, the wait for answers is more than a headline. Share your thoughts below.